Vale. Vamos a ver si se termina de cargar esto, el tema del chat y demás. Y comenzamos. Vale, parece que está ya esto cargado. Vamos a dar un test de prueba. Vale, ya funciona. Ya funciona. Ok. ¿Cómo? A ver qué tal está. ¿Bucle infinito en la pantalla? ¿Cómo que bucle infinito en la pantalla? Ahora mismo no tengo el juego puesto, ¿eh? Me imagino que te refieres a la pantalla esa, que se ve lo mismo. Se me escucha y todo el rollo, ¿no? ¿Se me está escuchando? Hola, hola. Se me escucha y todo el rollo, ¿no? ¿Se me está escuchando? Hola, hola. Sí, se me está. Ah, bueno, la pantalla ordenada. Sí, sí, creo que sabía a lo que te refieres. Se ve hasta el ratón. Pero es que estoy ahora mismo en Twitch. Ahora mismo yo lo que estoy viendo es Twitch, mi canal. Vamos a darle, vamos a empezar ya. Está todo el audio bien y tal. Vale, a ver qué tal suena. Está muy alto. Hola, 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 hola. ¿Qué tal se escucha el juego con respecto a mí? Se me ve muy oscuro, ¿no? Se escucha bien. Sí, mira que es bucle esto. Bueno, aquí me estaréis viendo a mí. Mucha gente en la cocina, ¿ves? En la piscina. Comenzar el partido, ¿no? Logros. Ahora tengo un logro, ¿no? Sale del juego y abre el otro. Bueno, no voy a leer logros por si alguno es algún spoiler o algo. Y a ver de qué va el juego este, qué tal está. Let's go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh. Entonces básicamente somos un señor que nos dedicamos a pulsar teclas y nos están vigilando con una cámara que no la veo. A ver, dejadme un momento que tengo el cable del ratón. Ahora. Y básicamente nos dicen qué teclas pulsar y cuánto tiempo debemos pulsarlas. Oh, fuck. Ese es nuestro trabajo. Hey, Jarillo, ¿qué tal, tío? ¿Cómo estamos? ¿Has visto este nuevo Dark Souls? Pulsa Alt F4, a ver. Si queréis pongo subtítulos, a mí me da igual, pero sí que es cierto que para la gente que a lo mejor no entiende mucho inglés. ¿Y cómo pongo subtítulos, tío? Aquí. En polaco, ¿no? Es para un final. Igualmente, ¿ya conoces el juego, Jarillo? No quiero saber nada, ¿eh? No lo he jugado nunca y no quiero... Me recuerda, creo que lo vi hace mucho tiempo, pero no quiero saber nada. Los dejo en español. O en inglés. Vamos a dejarlos en español. Es que no me gusta nada cuando... Oh, tiene que reiniciarse, en serio. No tengo ni idea, Jarillo. Es que no tengo ni idea. O sea, quiero ponerme aquí. Quiero desconectar un poco de Dark Souls. Aunque sea un ratico, porque creo que no es muy largo el juego. Vale, voy a reiniciar el juego para los subtítulos. Y a ver con qué nos sorprende
This
el
is
juego.
the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big...
Esto es lo que ya hemos visto. Básicamente, quien haya llegado nuevo, si ha llegado alguien nuevo, que somos un señor que estamos aquí sentados y que pulsamos las teclas que nos dicen el tiempo que nos dicen. Está a 2 segundos, está a 3 segundos. Y nos vigilan, pero no sé dónde está la cámara que salía que nos vigilaba. Y básicamente, este es nuestro trabajo. Y de repente un día no hay indicaciones de qué teclas pulsar y no hay nadie en la oficina. Y algo extraño ocurrió. Vamos a ver qué es eso. Yo estoy guay con entonces, demasiado Dark Souls, correcto. Que seguramente esta noche, si hago directo, jugaré Dark Souls otra vez. Pero por lo menos desconectar un poco, ¿sabes?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, me voy a acordar de que soy el 427. Por si acaso.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Correcto. O sea, es como una historia que está contando. No me sale el emote que has puesto, Jarillo. Ah, lul. No sé por qué no me salen los emotes en el chat. Qué raro. Vale. Wow, increíble paisaje, ¿no? No hay cosas para interactuar, tío. Éramos el 400. Éramos el 427, ¿no? ¿Y por qué 425, 426? No sé. 427. Eso me lo voy a apuntar aquí, por si acaso. Coge el paisaje.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Dice que vayamos por la izquierda. O sea, a ver, básicamente se supone que esto ya ha pasado y nos lo está contando el narrador. Y nosotros estamos viviendo eso que pasó. Pero nos da la opción de hacer otra cosa.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Claro. O sea, ¿y si no le hacemos caso?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Vale, imagino que este juego es de plan de tomar decisiones, que van a pasar cosas distintas. Vamos a no hacerle caso. ¿Se cierra la puerta?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hostia. Supongo que vas por ahí arriba, si sigue por el otro lado.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
I'm asking for her.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
What the fuck?
She's been waiting.
Vamos a ver, me está riendo porque se supone que era un narrador y ahora no es un narrador. O sea, esto no es un narrador. Es una voz en off que está en este momento hablando. Y no sé quién es ella.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Muy buenas, Koiwan Kenobi. Los mejores nombres que hay por aquí. ¿Qué tal, tío? Para estos días en casa, ¿qué recomiendas comprar? Uf, yo qué sé, Kobe. Yo qué sé, ¿pero qué dices de videojuego? Dying Light más GTA San Andreas o Dying Light más Left 4 Dead. Papel higiénico. Dying Light más GTA. A ver, te recomiendo la Epic Store. ¿Sabes lo que es la Epic Store? La de Fortnite. Porque ahí te regalan juegos casi todos los días. Y luego, si te tienes que comprar una de esas dos opciones... A ver, veo que el Dying Light lo quieres sí o sí. Y Dying Light es de zombies. Entonces tal vez Dying Light más Left 4 Dead es demasiado plan de lo mismo. A lo mejor Dying Light y GTA te da más diversidad. Pero no sé, lo que te diga el cocoro. No sé por qué se me está cerrando el chat. No me jodas. ¿Qué pasa? Bueno, ahora mismo no estoy leyendo chat, ¿eh? Bueno, puedo poner el ordenador, pero claro, no sé qué está pasando. Porque tengo el chat puesto en un ordenador que funciona como el orto. Perfecto. Espero que te haya ayudado, Kobe. Vamos a ver qué le pasa al chat, tú. What's wrong with the chat? Vale, aquí está. Uf, qué susto. Vale. Por favor, no te me vayas. Vamos a seguir. Hola, Fran. ¿Qué tal, tío? Bueno, por los que vais llegando, básicamente soy un empleado de una empresa, en una oficina. Me dedico todo el día a pulsar botones y de repente un día no están las indicaciones que siempre sigo y no hay nadie en la oficina. Me levanto y entonces empieza a sonar una voz en off que es como un narrador de lo que sucedió en ese entonces. ¿Qué pasa? Que llega un punto en el que dice Stanley, que eres tú como personaje, llegó a una bifurcación, ¿no? Había dos puertas y dice, y Stanley tomó la puerta izquierda. Está como contando lo que sucedió y estamos viviéndolo. ¿Qué pasa? Que yo cogí y he dicho, oye, ¿qué pasa si voy por la derecha? Y he tirado por la derecha. Y entonces el narrador, que se supone que era como eso, un narrador que te estaba contando la historia, ya empieza a comportarse de manera distinta y ya no es narrador. Y hemos llegado a un punto en el que está diciendo, porque estoy haciendo todo lo contrario. Y entonces hemos llegado a un punto en el que el tío está diciendo como que hay una ella y que es mi única oportunidad para conseguir volver con ella o algo así. Y básicamente hemos llegado a esta sala y me ha dicho que es ella, que está en el teléfono. Así que a ver qué pasa. He pulsado botones, he pulsado la E. Vale, nosotros somos el
Oh,
empleado
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you?
No puedo
I'm trying to
moverme.
make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
¿Veis? Este es el narrador. No, fuck. Pero no es un narrador, es una voz en off. O sea, es alguien que me está hablando ahora mismo. Pues no.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Vale, no podemos. Ahora sí que hay que hacer esto.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What the fuck? No quiero presionarlo. ¿Pasa algo si no lo presiono? No, creo que tengo que usar.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Oh, vaya.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
No quiero. Que si me dejase no presionarlo, tío. Si presiono otra letra.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Oh, yeah.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
¿Qué es lo que había pasado?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either.
Está contando lo que
At
habíamos
last, choice.
Elección.
It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Vale, puto chat se me ha vuelto a ir, tío. ¿Qué coño le pasa hoy, tío? Ayer estuvo todo el directo bien. Y ahora no sé por qué se va.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Vamos a decir a nuestra esposa que la amamos.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Lo que estaba haciendo, tío.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself?
Oh,
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Para cuestionar nada. A ver, ahora mismo he tomado este planteamiento de no hacerle caso, hacer todo lo contrario. Siempre que me deja opción, claro. Vale, vamos a presionar a R.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Maybe this time.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Por favor,
And I
muera. What? ¿Hemos vuelto a empezar?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale. La cosa es, si ahora voy por la derecha y vuelvo a fastidiarla, ¿va a repetir lo mismo que antes? o el juego sabe que yo ya he hecho lo otro, ¿sabes? Es que no sé qué tipo de juego es este. O sea, ¿sabrá el juego que ya he tomado la decisión anterior o sí que es verdad que se ha reiniciado del todo? Voy a tirar por la derecha, vamos a fastidiar otra vez.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
Está
just to admire
lo
it.
mismo.
Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Entonces
left.
entiendo que va a ser lo mismo. Vale, pues vamos a... ¿Cuál ha sido la última decisión? Bueno, vamos a tirar por aquí a ver ahora.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh. Podrías no coger el teléfono, creo. ¿Qué acaba de pasar?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
My mistake. Pues ahora quiero ir por aquí. What the fuck?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
What?
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
This story?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
What the fuck?
Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then.
Cool.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
What the fuck, ¿en serio? Puto chat. Vuelvo a no leer el chat durante un momento hasta que cargue el del ordenador.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
Estoy perdiéndome
Do
a
we
muerte.
Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
What? Ah, entonces, el juego sí que cuando... O sea, siempre... Vale. No sé si el primer restart que hemos hecho sí que ha hecho restart completo. Pero este restart que hemos hecho ahora, que nos ha hecho el juego, cuando hemos llegado a la sala esa de la start, sí que es cierto que en ese restart el juego sí es... O sea, recuerda que hemos hecho ya, ¿sabes?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ábreme puertas.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Que vuelva.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Pues no, me voy. Ya sé qué juego es este.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
¿Qué cojones está pasando, tío? Pasa de su calendario de abrir puertas o algo. Sí, 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 lo que quiero es todo el rato pasar de él, tío, pero... Es como que esto está muy prehecho, ¿sabes? Y como que no puedo abrir puertas, tío. ¿Ha pasado algo ahí? Vamos a volver para atrás a ver qué pasa. A lo mejor deja de trolearte. ¿Es Dios este señor? ¿Quién es este señor?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Hay que tener las cosas claras. Paso de... Hay que hacer las cosas. Vamos a hacer lo que ha dicho. Yo creo que no se va a poder ninguna, ¿no? ¿Y activar el ordenador, tío? No eres capaz de confiar. No, no. Menos en un señor que se supone que era un narrador y no, y ahora es como una voz en off. Como, no sé, tío, como una... Porque, ¿has visto la sala de las teles? Esa puerta está abierta, tú.
No, no, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
No quiero volver a la línea. No quiero. Le da las setas o algo así. Al final todo esto va a ser que estoy drogadísimo, tío. Stanley está drogadísimo. Él quiere contar tu historia, pero no le dejas. I hate Mondays. Me too. Hostia, me está apeteciendo jugar a un juego de terror, tío. Así, de primera persona y tal. Yo no escucho voces en off. Un solitario ahí. Bueno, sigamos por aquí. Yo creo que no se pueden abrir
You see,
puertas.
the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
A ver si el drogo es el
Now, we
tío
can
este.
both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Esto es lógico. En plan. ¿Qué cojones? O sea, venimos hacia aquí, venimos por aquí, giramos a la izquierda y volvemos aquí. No tiene mucho sentido. Estoy intentando, pero... por elegir el camino este del ascensor. Hostia, ¿qué vamos por aquí o por aquí? ¿Es lo mismo? ¿De parte? Vale, hay que ir por aquí.
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
No. Vale, por fin podemos no hacerle caso.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it.
Ahí
Restart.
estábamos nosotros. Fuck, ahí estábamos nosotros.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
No.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Which direction? This one? Alright.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
What the fuck?
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
No le hagamos caso con TM. O sea, ¿hay alguien?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
No se va a abrir la otra. Esto habrá sido porque cogí el de primera a la derecha.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
The fuck? O sea, aquí está todo lo que hemos hecho, pero aquí hay futuro.
Okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
Vale, si ahora no hay oficina, estamos ya casi en el final. Pero acababa en Stanley muriendo. ¿Te está gustando, punto? Está curioso.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
O sea, por ahora es Como volver a empezar. ¿Hemos vuelto a empezar del todo o no? Pues yo creo que el primer restart que hemos hecho sí que ha sido un volver a empezar, ¿eh? Porque después hemos tomado el camino del ascensor y es cuando ya hemos hecho toda esta paranoia. No, esta es la música del principio, creo. El juego ha tomado parte, el narrador tampoco quería colaborar.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Voy a seguir tirando por la derecha, ¿eh?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Si volvemos a meternos aquí vamos a hacer lo mismo, imagino. Y si vuelvo a la puerta... Pues esta es la puerta de la izquierda. Vale, acabamos de entrar en la puerta de la izquierda.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Esto es del PowerPoint, tío. Vale, ya está el vecino poniendo música. A las 8 el vecino pone música a tope. Y luego pone el himno de España. Y tal por los sanitarios. ¡Oh!
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Puedo coger algo?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Nos quedamos. ¿Se está escuchando la música?
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
No, vale.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Sí, aquí sigo,
Standing
tío.
around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Nada, que me quiero quedar aquí, tío, que está muy guapo el sitio.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
O sea, él quiere contar nuestra historia, pero no le estamos dejando.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ala. Himno de Españita.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
Sí, ya está
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove...
¿Puedo pausar? Vale, he pausado. ¿He muerto? No, estoy bien. Es una paranoia, para. es una paranoia de la hostia. O sea, básicamente, eres un empleado que te dedicas toda tu vida a pulsar teclas, ¿vale? Y entonces un día te levantas y no hay nadie. Y las indicaciones que te pide el teclado de qué teclas pulsar, o sea, el ordenador de qué teclas pulsar, no te da indicaciones. Te levantas y no hay nadie en la oficina. Y empiezas a andar. Y entonces empieza a sonar una voz en off, que es la que estabas escuchando ahora, que es como un narrador. Entonces empieza como a narrar la historia de lo que le sucedió a Stanley, que es tu personaje. Entonces empieza a decir, pues Stanley se dio cuenta de que no había nadie en la oficina, debió de olvidarse de algo, así que decidió ir a la habitación de reuniones, no sé, algo así. Entonces tú vas avanzando y llegas a 2 puertas. Y dice, como Stanley iba a la sala de reuniones, Stanley fue por la izquierda. Y te deja elegir. Y entonces yo cogí y tiré por la derecha. Y entonces dice el narrador, vaya, al parecer Stanley no sé qué. Y entonces el narrador empieza a cambiar su actitud. Yo a partir de ahí empecé a hacer todo lo contrario a lo que me decía. Y entonces el narrador empezaba, más que a ser un narrador, a ser una voz en off que estaba en el momento conmigo y como que se estaba enfadando porque no estaba haciendo lo que le estaba diciendo, ¿sabes? Como que antes me estaba guiando y yo no le he hecho caso y se estaba cabreando. Y me ha empezado a hablar de una mujer, no sé qué, pim pam, y de repente ha dicho, empezamos el juego, pum, y restart. Y he vuelto a empezar desde el principio. He vuelto a tirar por el camino de la derecha y he tirado por otro camino y hay un ascensor. He cogido el ascensor y ahí ya se ha ido de madre. O sea, hemos llegado a un sitio con un montón de pantallas. El tío ha dicho como que, no deberías haber llegado hasta aquí, no sé qué. Me ha vuelto a hacer restart, hemos vuelto a empezar, pero había una línea amarilla en el suelo que me decía por dónde tenías que ir. No sé, unas paranoias. Y hemos llegado como una especie de final. Y entonces, como que hay muchos finales en función de las decisiones que tomes. Entonces ahora, por ejemplo, hemos tirado por la puerta derecha, pero hemos retomado el camino de la izquierda. Y en vez de ir por donde nos estaba diciendo, me he metido en un armario. Y me he quedado en el armario. Entonces el narrador ha dicho, pero Stanley se metió en el armario, vio que no había nada y se fue. Y yo me he quedado. Y entonces pasaba el ratillo y de repente dice, Stanley extrañamente se quedaba en el armario, pero tenía que irse porque no había nada. Y yo me he quedado, y me he quedado, y me he quedado. Y ya se ha empezado a cabrear y empezó a llamarme a decir que Stanley era un drogadicto, Stanley se iba a morir, no sé qué. Era una paranoia.
Their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
Se ha entendido perfectamente,
All right. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Es que ha sido tan rápido, es que si hubiese visto todo lo que ha pasado. Vale, yo me voy a seguir quedando aquí. El narrador piensa que te has muerto tú, José. O sea, es que al principio he pensado eso, que era yo el que había muerto. Pero luego he pensado, a lo mejor, cuando he dicho lo de keyboard, digo, pero a lo mejor habla de que quien se ha muerto ha sido el personaje tecleando. Pero claro, el narrador piensa que me he muerto. Por eso no estoy jugando. Sustituir a alguien en el ordenador. Supongo que ya está. Está llamando a unos más. ¿Qué narrador? O sea, había un momento en el que ha dicho, porque había un momento en el que ha dicho, ahora que tocaba, no sé qué, como se ha liado y no sabía lo que pasaba en la historia, qué tenía que hacer ahora Stan. Y dice, espera, tal, y ha empezado como a mirar unas hojas. Y luego también ha dicho, es que mi historia no era así. Como que a lo mejor hay muchos como él que tienen otras historias o que hay, no sé, una paranoia. No sé muy bien cuál es la historia. Vámonos.
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Vale, supongo que ya... Yo creo que ya hemos acabado. ¿Y si vuelvo para atrás? Bueno, ya está. Vamos a tirar para adelante.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
¿Ves? Stanley caminó hacia arriba. Voy a plantearme eso, el no hacerle caso, ¿vale? Y ya cuando hagamos todas las posibilidades y todo tanto, ya veremos.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What the fuck?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
What the fuck?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, For just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Y volvemos a empezar. ¿Esto ha sido otro final? Exacto.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Sí, para. Esto es el principio, pero no dice esto en el principio. O sea, es el principio, pero ha cambiado. Sí, sí, básicamente es eso, para. Pero ahora mismo está distinto, ¿eh? Estas son las dos
When
puertas.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Para, ahora sí lo ha dicho igual, pero no ha empezado de la misma forma, ¿eh? Vamos a seguir yendo por la derecha.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
¿Puedo ir por algún otro lado? No. Esto es lo primero que hicimos, para.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
¿Puedes tirarte? Eso parece, cariño. Estamos conectados, Nex.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Vale, se supone que esto es para confiar en él. Ha dicho. Dice que fue por la roja.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
What the fuck. O sea, si esto estamos llegando a un final tal, está escondidillo, ¿eh? Porque había que
You
tirarse
see?
todo el tiempo.
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
Ok.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Hostia, hay como... Esto no estaba antes, ¿no? A ver, es bastante... O sea, me tienta bastante ir por aquí, pero hemos dicho que vamos a hacer todo lo posible por no hacerle caso. Esto será otro final o tal. Vamos a ir por aquí. Vamos al mismo sitio, ¿no?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
¿Cómo? O sea, no he jugado tanto el juego, pero se ve que tiene un montón de mierda. Please rate your experience. Vamos a darle al 5.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul.
Oh.
You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. Worldwide leaderboard. This is you. In total, doors open, doors attend, steps taken, ending achieved, door closed. What? Estoy en el último, vaya. Is this your superior? Ah, that rat is offline.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Sí, claro que sí, quiero llegar al número 1.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Esto está en Play, ni idea.
In
En la
this
Epic
game,
esto no está
the
gratis.
baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
What the
Well, Stanley,
fuck?
is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
What the
Will it
fuck?
ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Me va a encerrar.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Hostia, me ha abierto camino. No, por ahora me quiero meter dentro. Y la música,
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Están sonando... Estaba pasando de juego a juego.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Ah, vale, que puedo salir. Pensaba que estaba bien encerrado. Portal, sí, se parece a Portal, pero no tengo...
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
Lo sé.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wise.
Hostia. ¿Juego de miedo? Aunque bueno, parece que estamos otra vez en oficinas. No se parece, es igual. Es que hace mucho que no veo nada del puerto. Y como no llevaba la pistolita... Vale, estoy volviendo a la oficina. Creo que estoy volviendo a mi oficina. $427. No hay nada aquí.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
Joder, este señor, ¿no?
I can wait.
You can wait. I can wait too. End is never the end is never the end. Vale, todavía no hemos llegado a un final porque esto está cambiado. Hemos vuelto a empezar aquí.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Alguien estaba siguiendo a Stanley.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hey, for Soul, muchísimas gracias por la raid, tío. Bueno, por el hosteito, por el hosteito. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos? Nosotros aquí rayándonos la cabeza de una manera.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Otra vez lo mismo.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
¿Me vuelvo a tirar?
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting,
¿Me tiro o no me tiro?
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please,
¿Y si me tiro
stop
abajo?
trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh, vaya. F. Hostia, creo que hemos hecho restar del todo, eh. ¿Le hacemos caso? Tío, lo de el final este con lo del Minecraft y tal es una locura, Tío, por haber el más guapo, tío. El de las pantallas también ha estado guay, pero... Muy buena, For Souls. ¿Qué tal, tío?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Te pongo un poco al corriente, For Souls. Somos un señor que trabaja todo el día en una oficina pulsando botones. Un día, las indicaciones de qué botones pulsar no están y tal, y no hay nadie en la oficina. El señor se levanta, que eres tú, Stanley, y sales. Y entonces comienza a sonar una voz en off, que es como un narrador que empieza a decir lo que pasó. Empieza a decir, pues Stanley no sabía qué pasaba, fue a buscar a la gente, todo el rollo. Y entonces llegas a este punto en el que estoy ahora, que hay 2 puertas. Y dice, y entonces Stanley tomó la puerta izquierda para ir a la sala de reuniones. ¿Y yo qué hice? Dije, voy a tirar por la derecha. Y tiré por la derecha. Y entonces ya a partir de ahí el juego se va de madre. Se va de madre. ¿Has terminado la Run for Souls? Ah, ya sé qué juego es entonces. Pues o sea, se ha ido de madre el juego, que hemos jugado a Minecraft, incluso, un rato. Y estoy por hacerle ya caso. Le hemos hecho mucho rato. Hemos pasado de él durante mucho rato. Pero vamos a hacer lo que nos dice. Vamos a ver qué pasa si hacemos lo que nos dice.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Esto es lo que ha pasado antes.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Aquí también vinimos y bajamos, en vez de subir, que es lo que nos ha dicho. Vamos a hacerle caso, ¿va? Executive bathroom. ¿Conoces el juego entonces, For Souls?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Vale. ¿Y si ponemos otra cosa? Vi algún gameplay hace años. Sí, yo creo que vi algo del Rubius, tío. Pero
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Tiene que haber 800 dígitos perdidos por ahí, pues ya ves. ¿Qué podemos hacer, tío? Mira, la imagen del centro es el icono del juego.
2845.
No lo voy a poner. Bueno, hemos dicho que vamos a hacerle caso, tío. Vamos a hacerle caso y luego venimos aquí y no lo ponemos.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vamos a hacerle caso. Es que como soy, como mis impulsos es pasar del tío. Qué flipante. Es que da como más curiosidad, ¿no? Hacia abajo, Como el otro ascensor que tomamos. A ver a dónde nos lleva esto.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Vamos a hacer lo que nos dice y ahora volvemos a tirar por la puerta, porque ahora estamos viendo un montón. Sí que es cierto que por la puerta derecha no había tantas opciones como se están abriendo aquí en la puerta izquierda, Eso sí, las dos opciones que hemos hecho de la puerta derecha han estado bastante guays, la del Minecraft y la otra. Y la de las pantallas. Ya has puesto cam. ¿Qué me ha salido tan? Eres exactamente como me imaginaba. ¿En serio? ¿Me imaginabas así? Joder. Vamos a hacerle caso.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Ahí arriba hemos
What
llegado.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Y esto es lo que yo había visto desde arriba, que he dicho ahí. En algún otro camino llegaremos hasta ahí.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Que a lo mejor me estoy paranoiando mucho, no está profundo el juego, pero por si acaso.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Deja de pensar este. No me veo allí. Y cuando me asomo aquí no veía a nadie.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
0142. ¿Nos lo guardamos para meterlo en la contraseña? Porque era de 4 dígitos. 0521. ¿Será o no será? Ahí hay puertas también, ¿eh? Ahí arriba, pasillo. Voy a apuntarme estos dos números. Y 0001, cierto, y 001. Hay que pulsarlo 4 veces. Si lo mantengo. Who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bueno, vamos a seguir. Offline. 5. Vale, será un orden. O incluso estos códigos. 3. 1 y 2. No sé yo esto. Puedo agacharme. Tal vez si pongo el código... me da pereza, tío.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Uy, tengo un puntito ahora. ¿Ve al 1 otra vez o no? No, vamos a ver esto qué es. No me he enterado, me ha dicho que lo enciendo o que lo apague. Me ha dicho que lo enciendo o que lo apague. Que tal, no me enteré. Que lo apagues. Es que es muy difícil de explicar, Legatán. Es una rayada. Te animo a que te veas si es el directo un poquillo de primeras, a ver si te gusta al principio. Pues está bastante curioso.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Bien. Solo desbloqueado completar el juego. O sea, todos los finales de antes no es completar el juego. Hemos vuelto a empezar. Vale, hacemos lo de los códigos.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Esto es distinto. Pero supongo que no afecta. El comentario que hace al principio no afecta. Chinga, tu van a subir los impuestos.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿Cuál ponemos primero? ¿0001, el 0142 o el 0521?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Pues nada.
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Vale, vamos a hacerle caso y vamos a tirar por
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Era un sitio que ponía salida. ¿Hacemos eso o le damos a encender?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Vamos a darle a on, a ver qué pasa.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Vamos rápido.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? Yeah. After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
What the fuck?
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
2 atoms remaining?
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Goodbye, employee.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Oh, vaya. Esto es distinto, ¿eh?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No el simulator.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vamos a ir por donde escape.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Cabrón. Ábreme, ¿eh? Es que este Leviatán, el juego va de eso. Tiene un montón de finales. Ahora sí eso podemos ver en internet alguna ramificación.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward
Bueno, podéis mirarlo
into the
vosotros si queréis,
opened
pero que yo lo miraré
passageway.
ahora cuando esté en el stream. ¿No te deja ahora? Sí, me deja. Lo que pasa es que como lo he puesto tan rápido, ¿vale? Stanley tenía tanta prisa que no sé qué, que para relajarse, que no dejaba hablar al narrador. Para relajarse le voy a poner un poquito de música, no sé qué. Pero sí me deja. Vale, vamos a ir por donde ponía escape.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, vaya.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Vamos a por la muerte. Ahora pone Stanley ha muerto.
word into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ahora se ponen a discutir, ¿o no?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
¿Cómo de grande es esta sala? ¿Te imaginas que hay algún camino secreto? Parece que no. Estoy llegando a tope, ¿eh? Ahora me estoy yendo hacia la izquierda por si hay algún camino. Pero parece que no.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, a ver esto. At your paintings. Stanley's computer. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors follows the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout the development to the code layout. Vale, sí que esto es el principio y lo primero que se hizo en el juego, que poco a poco se fue desarrollando. Corridor, the pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. Que se hizo para que el, o sea, se hizo en concreto, o sea, no me sale la palabra, que se hizo adrede de este tamaño el pasillo este para que el personaje llegase en el tiempo justo al sitio. Y the two doors, las famosas two doors. The set of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it. An exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Pues que a partir de ahí todo el juego ya aparece, ¿no? Dependiendo de la elección que tú tomas. The Office. Mira, a selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Bueno, Nexus, me tengo que ir un momento. Vale, no te preocupes. Be right back. Ok. Flying carpets. Office computers. Los tipos de computers. Esto es como la creación del juego, los créditos. Hostia, el programador es español, ¿eh? O sudamericano, Jesús Higueras. Tiene nombre hispano. And the impeccable Givan Brighting as the narrator. Correcto, Juan, se me has pillado. Sí, sí, lo comenté antes. Está en la Epic gratuito. Voy a apuntarme el nombre del tío. Eduardo Ortiz es más español que yo. Es verdad, no había leído también de Eduardo Ortiz. Sound design, model design, animation, Stanley character skin. Este es un museo del juego. Post office, office clock. What the fuck? Underground. Esto tiene pinta importante. ¿Lo conoces, Juan, el juego? Vamos a ir al otro lado a ver qué hay. Sí, hace mucho lo vi. Sí, yo también lo hice un montón, pero no me acordaba de nada, tío. Me está sorprendiendo un montón. Warzone, ¿esto qué es? Call of Duty ahora? Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up in a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We released shortly after starting to believe that it was too far too jockey and no one knows. By the end of the game, plus some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Bueno, ya que no puedo salir voy a encender la play, hace bien, hace bien. Que básicamente tuvieron pensado un final. Anda, mira, Alien Base. Un final que era como de guerra contra aliens, pero que no lo hicieron al final porque era demasiado complicado y que no querían que la gente, o sea, como que se habló de que era reírse de la gente que le gustan los shooters. Curioso. Sí, han puesto 15 días más, Leviathan. Las oficinas. Curioso. Del final este del on y el off, creo que, pues, que tenías dos opciones, para ir abajo o arriba. Qué paranoia, tú. Hasta el 13 de abril no puedes salir en Colombia. ¿Esto qué es, tío? Antes de comer no lo terminaron. What? Vale, ha crasheado el juego, parece. Pero no sé si es por el juego que me ha crasheado el juego de verdad. What the fuck? Creo que es del juego, Pero después de la cuarentena vamos a volver a recar. ¿A recar? ¿O ha crasheado de verdad, tío? Recaer. Esperemos que no. Vale, what the fuck. Falta solo con que uno lo siga teniendo y salga para que pase otra vez todo. Pues ya. Esperemos que no. Creo que se ha crasheado el juego. Ha crasheado el juego, tú. No me deja cerrarlo, tú. Ya está. Bueno, depende de si no se ha controlado bien, si ya sacan la cura para entonces. Claro, a ver, quién sabe, a lo mejor sacan la cura. China ya estaba probándola en seres humanos, creo. Pues vamos a empezar.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Vamos a
missed a
hacer otra vez
memo.
lo mismo, ¿vale? Y vamos a volver ahí a ver qué pasa. Quiero seguir por ese. Por lo menos
When
terminar
Stanley
ese final.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Creo que fue la
Yet
de
there was
Escape.
not a single person here either.
Juegacho.
Feeling a
¿Lo conoces,
wave
Julia?
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase,
Madre mía, qué
Stanley
paranoia
walked
hemos
upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly
la
as
polla,
possible,
está súper
he
chulo,
didn't
entonces,
even have a
hemos jugado al
single minute to
Minecraft.
just let the narrator
Hemos
talk.
jugado al Minecraft y al
That
Portal
kind of
aquí metidos.
anxiety isn't healthy, so he
Pasa que acaba de
relaxed for
crashear
a
el
few
juego,
moments
tío.
with some
Me ha
calming New
crasheado en
Age
un
music.
punto y hemos tenido que reiniciar aquí ahora. Así que vamos a volver ahí para continuar ese final. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos, Julia? ¿Cómo va la cuarentena?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Tu voz se oye bastante más baja que el juego. ¿En serio? A ver ahora qué tal. Me la ha subido algo.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Vamos a hacer todo esto rápido.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ahora mejor, ok.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
O vaya.
The door behind him was
Esto es lo
not
que acabamos de
shut.
hacer.
Stanley
Y se ha
still had
craseado en
every
mitad.
opportunity to
Hemos llegado
turn
como a un
around and
museo
get
del
back
juego
on track.
y se ha craseado.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Sí, vamos a ver si llegamos otra vez al museo. ¡Pum! Ahora de hecho empieza a hablar una tía y todo.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley,
Farewell,
cried the narrator,
Stanley.
as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Qué bien.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game,
Aquí estamos
back in
otra vez
his
en el
office, as alive as ever. What exactly
Quiero
did
ir
the
al
narrator
punto en el que
think
me
he
ha
was going to
craseado.
accomplish? When every
Sí me
path you
acuerdo.
can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Joder. Hemos venido por aquí. No, por aquí no. Por aquí. Aquí ha craseado, ¿eh? Ha craseado cuando hemos ido a entrar ahí. A ver. Hostia, tú, vuelve a crasear. ¡Oh! Antes ha craseado, Julia, justo. Y se ha jodido, es decir, no me ha dejado continuar. Trailers. We ran for major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one, released in May. Joder, chaval, 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he's preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Curioso. Pues no sé por qué crasea cuando paso por ahí. Hostia, a ver. One option. One doorway to maintenance in the rooms. Vale, estas son las dos puertas, derecha e izquierda. Y de hecho ahí está en medio el ascensor. Vale, estas son opciones que tuvieron de mapeo, ¿no? Curioso. Miren, room. Vaya. A mí que de cosas hay aquí, ¿no? Hemos vuelto aquí. Vale. Vamos a ir a la sala esa oscura a ver qué hay. Ah, es la salida, de hecho. Venga, vamos.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. how they wish to control one another, how they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Habla de Stanley y del
No,
narrador, ¿no?
perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop.
Pam.
Now will be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
Oh, vaya. And now what? ¿Ahora qué? Muerte. ¿En serio? Morición. ¿En serio? Qué paranoia, tú. Creo que lo vamos a dejar por aquí, ¿eh? Llevamos ya 2 horitas. Bueno, vamos a hacer una cosa. Vamos a hacer una cosa. Vamos a ver todas las ramificaciones estas que se supone que tiene el juego y demás. Pongo... finales. Hostia, tú. Ya veréis, ¿eh? Voy a buscar también a este señor. Mirad. Vale. Este es el señor que habla, se supone. El que está el narrador todo el rato. Señor, bueno, pues un señor, ¿no? Tampoco vamos a... No sé quién es o qué se dedica. Pero bueno, como dato curioso. Y este es... todos los posibles finales. A ver. Manual reset. Manual reset. Manual reset. Buah, esto yo ya lo había visto. Reset, reset. Reset. Más finales aún. Jolín. A ver, nosotros... puedo moverme... A ver. Estar en stand tal. Walk out of the main stage. Stay in the office. 2 shots. Route and ending. Hostia, hay un final si te quedas. Walk out the main. Dios, y aquí ya se abren muchas cosas. Uy. Se abre. Y hay una extra que es Open Menu, Server Cheats, Serious Room with Serious Towers. Vale, estos son cheats. Y dice aquí, input all for user inputs on CPUs, given ending. Crouch out window, sick of gag. Hostia, entonces sí se pueden abrir puertas. Y mira que he ido probando. Left door, right door. Es aquí, ¿no? Sí. O sea, el right es todo esto y el left es todo esto. La primera vez fuimos por el right. Fuimos seguidos para adelante. Este lo hemos hecho. Step back tricking platform. Jump to death. Este supongo que es igual que este, más o menos. Este es el primero que hicimos. Hicimos este de aquí. Vale, parece que puedes hacer una opción aquí, pero vuelves. Un plug phone. Vale, esto no lo hicimos, lo de no coger el teléfono. Y luego también saltamos aquí. Red door, blue door. Red door, blue door, red door. Hostia, si hubiese entrado por cualquiera de las rojas, se habría acabado. Pero yo tiré por la azul todo el rato. Entonces luego teníamos left, middle o special third option. Y al parecer todas te llevan a lo mismo. Entonces si le das de 1 a 4 o de 5. Vale, nosotros le dimos 5. Se acaba. What the fuck. ¿Y dónde está lo del Minecraft y todo eso, tío? Pues si lo del Minecraft era por ahí. Esto no está completo, ¿eh? A lo mejor es vieje. Pues a lo mejor. Es posible, es posible, es posible. Bueno, vamos a dejarlo por aquí. Me ha gustado bastante el juego, está chulo. Para desconectar un poco de Dark Souls y demás. Tengo que pensar ya cuál va a ser el siguiente juego que me apetecería jugar. Bueno, tengo todavía el Pokémon ahí a medias. Pero bueno, si hago esta noche directo, que no es seguro. Pero si lo hago, yo creo que vamos a seguir con el mod de Dark Souls. Y eso en general, seguramente. Esta noche. Pero si ya es de noche. Ya, bueno, prefiero después de cenar y todo el rollo. Yo ahora en breve me iré a cenar. ¿Te has pillado el Doom Eternal? No, no me lo he pillado. No me lo he pillado. No te creas que me llama mucho la atención Doom, ¿eh? En plan, se ve guay, pero no sé. No me apetece jugar un juego de esos ahora, tío. Pero tiene muy buena pinta, ¿eh? Tiene muy buena pinta. Y con noche me refiero a eso, Julia, me refiero a luego. Ahora haré la parada de ir a cenar y todo el rollo. Y ya esta noche será cuando a lo mejor pues sigamos con el mod del Dark Souls. Pasa que se nos complicó porque ayer estuvimos haciendo el otro mod en el que... No sé si se me está escuchando muy fuerte. Tampoco me molation mucho. Pues eso, que ayer nos quedamos en que en Volnir nos salió Gael. Y entonces, como ya hice todo lo posible antes de eso, y entonces fui ahí y todavía no tengo nivel para Gael, así que fui al DLC y en el DLC para intentar matar jefes, a ver qué nos tocaba y tal, y en el DLC, en el jefe del custodio de la tumba, el NPC que invoca a un jefe, pues invocó a Gael también. Lo bueno es que es la primera fase y creo que es más tal. Así que esta noche a lo mejor le daremos un poquito y nos tendremos que enfrentar al señor Gael. Así que nada. Vamos a ver quién hay por aquí. Está el señor Jesus jugando a Fortnite. Gael Everywhere, Gael Everywhere. Sé que esta noche, si hago directo, no es seguro si haga directo hoy, pero si hago directo, le daremos al Dark Souls 3 un poquito. Aunque también estoy empezando a echar de menos Sekiro, la verdad. Pero bueno. Así que nada, chicos, voy a hacer una raid al señor Jesus. Dadle mucho amor de mi parte. Está jugando Fortnite, creo. Sí, está jugando Fortnite. Pero bueno. Así que nada, señores. Muchas gracias por haber estado por aquí. Leviatán, a ti, Julia. Qué pena que hayas entrado al final, pero bueno. Y al bueno de Jarillo, que se ha ido hace un ratillo. Ahora cuando vuelva verá que no está el directo. Pero bueno, muchas gracias por estar por aquí, como siempre. Y nos vemos luego si os apetece venir por ahí. Venga, chaito.
FIFA 18 y Fornite, vale, eres tú. Vale, lo hemos conseguido. ¿Qué te ha pasado tú, Iván? Que eso no es súper robótico.